All thanks and praises unto Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham Wa Rakakwadash. Peace, blessings, much respect to the elders and the apostles of Great Millstone, on down to the rest of the elders who rule well within Israel. Salutations to the hopeful elect throughout the four corners of this whole entire earth, no matter where, whom they may be, or what they may look like, pushing out this purified truth to the rest of the church who believe as well. You men who may not be teachers or prophets, you women, sons and daughters also. The water to Yahweh Shai, because without him enduring and going to that cross for the nation of Israel and the nation of Israel alone, none of this would even be possible whatsoever. We have to be in this to win this, and we can't turn back now. We are too far to turn back now. This ministry is like walking on a long journey. Here it is. You're so far into your journey. You're in the wilderness, so to speak. And now you're thinking about drawing back. You're looking back as if you're missing something. Now, not only are you way out in the middle of nowhere, now you have to figure out, okay, how am I going to get back? You got to go through lions, tigers, and bears, all of, the fiery darts of Satan, all by yourself, trying to walk back to where you started, just to find out you can't go back, because going back means you have to pay by death. Okay? When we came into this ministry, we actually took a vow. This is not something that is light. And one thing about Esau, even when it comes to contracts, they don't play about contracts. Coming into this ministry, we basically took an oath. We made a vow. We took a contract and basically signed it with our word. Okay? And we have to finish the vow in order for us to be accepted. So we can't turn back now. Now let's touch on Galatians chapter 4 and verse 9. And one thing about these demons, it's their job to make you want to turn back. These demons try to make you have the same spirit that Lot's wife had and look back as if there's really something to look back on. So this is Galatians 4 and 9. But now after that ye have known the power, or rather are known of the power, how turn ye again to the weak and beggarly elements, whereunto ye desire again to be in bondage? So men who look back, they have a desire to go back into the world. The world is nothing but death. The world doesn't offer you anything. The people of this world, no matter how successful they get, they still got to die. The people of this world, no matter how many people love them, those same people can instantly turn on them. They could be persuaded by false narratives, false opinions, false accusations. You get sick. Okay? What does this world really have to offer? What is there to look back to? Defiled women, working a job. Okay, let's say you run a business. And let's say you run a successful business. Well, when you die, because again, you have to die, going back to this world, there's nothing to promise you but death, right? So when you die, who are those things going to be left to? You might say, well, I'm going to leave it to my son. What if your son is a complete idiot and he runs the business, the family business, to the ground? What is there in this world to offer? What can this world promise us except for death? So we have to understand, when we came into this ministry, we took a vow, and that vow must be paid. And we are considered living sacrifices. The Lord's not looking for dead sacrifices. We are the living sacrifice. We're sacrificing our time. We're sacrificing our freedom. We're sacrificing our safety, because, people could easily harm us. People could run up on us, snatch us up, do whatever, because we're men just like they are. We're in the flesh. We're mortals just like they are. But we have protection. We have confidence in our protection being Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai. That's life. There's life in this ministry. So turning back, trying to go back into the world, what is there to offer you? And even the things that it offers you, it's temporary pleasures that kill you. You can get all these fine ass women because you're successful based off the world standards, but then these same women throw you on child support. These same women can give you an STD, an uncurable STD. These same women can get you lined up by other men, right? What does this world have to offer us, man? Serving Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai is the best thing going. So let's read this again in Galatians 4:9. But now, after that ye have known the power, coming into this ministry, you know the power. You're hearing of his ways. You're hearing of the promises. You're hearing of the things he likes and doesn't like. Okay? You're hearing of his characteristics. You're hearing of the promises that's been given to the Israelites. But now, after that ye have known the power, or rather are known of the power, how turn ye again to the weak and beggarly elements, whereunto ye desire again to be in bondage? And it's crazy how many men have actually fallen out this truth and have gone back into the world because they allowed spirits to take over them and overcome them. And we're hoping in this ministry, as we go in our day-to-day life, as we battle it out, that we conquer, that we overcome all the opposition. Okay? Let's go forward. Let's touch on, what scripture is that? Let's go to Numbers. This is Numbers chapter 30 and verse 1. And Moses spake unto the heads of the tribes concerning the children of Israel, saying, this is the thing which the Lord Yahweh hath commanded. If a man vow a vow unto the Lord, or swear an oath to bind his soul with a bond, he shall not break his word. He shall do according to all that proceeded out of his mouth. So anytime we make a vow, we have to pay it. The Lord is not playing around. Okay, if you make a vow to the Lord and you say, Lord, if you get me out of this situation, I promise I'll never do such and such again. Hey, you made that vow. That came out of your mouth. You called on the true power of heaven and earth, and you made a vow. Well, when you come into this ministry, once you put your hand to the plow, you can't turn back now. Once you start doing this work, you've made a vow. You might not have said, okay, Lord, I promise I'm going to do this until the end. You don't have to say that. Coming into this ministry, putting your hand to the plow is making a vow, and you can't turn back now. All right? If a man vow a vow unto the Lord, or swear an oath to bind his soul with a bond, like coming into this ministry and doing this work, he shall not break his word. He shall do according to all that proceeded out of his mouth. So now that we started, we got to make sure we finish it. All right? That's commanded. Let's touch on the book of Ecclesiastes. Ecclesiastes chapter 5 and verse 4. When thou vowest a vow unto the power, defer not to pay it, for he hath no pleasure in fools. Pay that which thou hast vowed. So we cannot go back into the world. I mean, if we do, just know it's not going to be good for any of us. That's crazy as hell. You've heard of the mafia. Well, the real godfather, the real boss, the one who will definitely put a hit on someone who doesn't pay their vow, who plays with the family business, who plays with the business of Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai, nothing but death is coming to them. So understand, us being in this ministry, we are involved in a very, very serious thing. This is a vow. This is life or death. Okay? When thou vowest a vow unto the power, defer not to pay it, for he hath no pleasure in fools. Pay that which thou hast vowed. Better is it that thou shouldest not vow than that thou shouldest vow and not pay. So you're better off not starting to teach this word if you don't plan on doing this until death or deliverance. We have the mentality of however long it takes, as much as we want to get out of here tomorrow. We want to be out of here next week. But in reality, we have to do this as long as the Lord has us do it. Okay? Verse 6, suffer not thy mouth to cause thy flesh to sin, neither say thou before the angel that it was an error. Wherefore should the power be angry at thy voice and destroy the work of thine hands? So the Lord ain't playing with nobody. This is a serious deal. The men who have turned back, who didn't finish this work, it's not going to go well for them. We have to do this work until the very end. That's a part of the contract. That's a part of the vow. All right. Hebrews chapter 6 and verse 10. For the power is not unrighteous to forget your work and labor of love. So now that we're in this ministry, we have to keep in mind that the Lord's not going to forget what we're doing. He's not going to forget what we're going through. Okay. So why turn back? Yeah, it gets hard. So what? We know the reward. We know what things come with being in this ministry. It was told to us. We weren't left out in the dark. We weren't left out the loop. We knew these things. We understood that demons would try to mess with us and plague our minds and have us feeling like this or that. Are we going to believe it and give into it? Are we going to throw the towel in and say, you know what, I'm going back into the world, as if the Lord's just going to allow you to go back into the world like you never took a vow and there's no consequence? Which ye have showed toward his name, in that ye have ministered to the saints and do minister. So once we started ministering, we have to keep on ministering. Verse 11, and we desire that every one of you do show the same diligence to the full assurance of hope unto the end. So being in this ministry, you have to do it until the end. That ye be not slothful, but followers of them who through faith and patience inherit the promises. For when the power made promise to Abraham, because he could swear by no greater, he swore by himself, saying, surely blessing I will bless thee, and multiplying I will multiply thee. And so after he had patiently endured, he obtained the promise. So just like Abraham had to endure until the end. And guess what? We are no different than Abraham, seeing it started with Abraham, down to Isaac, Isaac down to Jacob, Jacob down to the 12 patriarchs, the 12 patriarchs down to the so-called Negro, Latino, and Native American. And it's not based off of how you look. Okay? So we have to hold on. We have to do this work with the intent of winning. All right? This is Ecclesiastes chapter 9 and verse 10. Whatsoever thy hand findeth to do, do it with thy might. For there is no work, nor device, nor knowledge, nor wisdom in the grave, whether thou goest. So now that we put our hand to the plow, we got to put that work in. We have to do the best that we can. And when I was younger, you know, back in the world, my older cousin, who's been in prison for quite some time now, I remember I was drinking with him one day, and I've never really been much of a drinker. And even right now, I prefer to just drink wine, wine or beer. Now, when it comes to heavier drinks, I'll do that when I'm in more social events. But I prefer to have, you know, my wine first, red wine, or my beer, right? But I was kicking it with my cousin, and I was drinking, and I was drinking something hard too. And I was just kind of sipping it. And he kept trying to tell me, like, you know, drink it. I'm like, you know, I don't really drink like that. What do I need to drink it for? And he looked at me and he was like, really? I want you to go hard at whatever you do. Now, at that time, I didn't really ponder on what he really said, because it could be taken destructively, or I could actually learn from it. What I've learned from that is, when you're doing something, go hard at it or don't do it at all. Me, not being much of a drinker, I finished the drink or whatever. I was a little tipsy. It would be stupid or foolish to just go hard, being an alcoholic and just keep drinking. But what I took from that is when you put your hand to something, go hard at it. Okay? When you're making love with your wife, you don't just give her the tip, you give her the whole thing. When you come into this ministry, you don't just, kind of get into it. You really have to put your whole thought into it. You really have to be about this. All right? When you work for Esau, you can't have the mentality of, well, Esau is a devil. This kingdom's going to be destroyed. So I'm going to do a half-ass job. Doing a half-ass job, you're not going to keep that job, for one. And for two, we don't represent ourselves. We represent Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai. So why not just go hard at it? Why not just do it and do it right for the sake of representing Yahushai? For people who do music in the world, if they do sports, if they're into working out, you got to go and do it with all your might. Well, in this ministry, this is what we do. We have to do it with all of our might. Okay? It's a fight, and we have to do it with all of our might. Whatsoever thy hand findeth to do, do it with thy might. For there is no work, nor device, nor knowledge, nor wisdom in the grave whither thou goest. So once a person dies, that's it. Their legacy has been written. Their legacy is sealed. Their story is over. Okay? But as long as we're here, we're still able to please the Lord. We're still able to add to our spiritual bank account. We're still able to keep our story being written and able to get better and better. So when we do leave, we can leave behind a legacy. And guess what? Some of us ain't going to die. Some of us aren't going to the grave. Some of us are going directly into a chariot from these current bodies that we're in right now. All right. So there's nothing to turn back to. Serving Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai is the best thing that we can do. All right. And it's not good to start what you can't finish. And it's not good to do anything half-assed, seeing that when we were created, we weren't created with one butt cheek. The Lord gave us two. So don't do anything half-assed. Okay. So I'll probably close it there. Trying to see if I have anything come to mind. Let's jump to Ezekiel, and I'll close it with this. It's not about how long you've been in this truth. It's about finishing the work. Ezekiel 18:24. But when the righteous turneth away from his righteousness and committeth iniquity and doeth according to all the abominations that the wicked man doeth. So if a man is in this truth and he decides, you know what, I'm going back and I'm going to do the same things I used to do. I'm going to be wicked just like everybody else around me. I'm going back to the old man. Okay? And do it according to all the abominations that the wicked man doeth. Shall he live? The answer is no. All his righteousness that he hath done shall not be mentioned. In his trespass that he had trespassed, and in his sin that he had sinned, in them shall he die. So if any of us turn back, it's over for us. Okay? Yet ye say, the way of the Lord is not equal. Hear now, O house of Israel. Is not my way equal? Are not your ways unequal? The Lord's the one who's equal. That's why if you don't pay that vow and keep it, the penalty is death. When a righteous man turneth away from his righteousness and committeth iniquity and dieth in them for his iniquity that he hath done, shall he die. Again, when the wicked man turneth away from his wickedness that he hath committed and doeth that which is lawful and right, he shall save his soul alive. So if we endure, if we keep on going, we keep pleasing the Lord, hey, we're going to live. Not only are we going to live, we're going to receive immortality. All right. But turning back, that ain't going to do nothing. You turn back, you're going to get a burn back. Okay. So I'm going to go on ahead and wrap it up right there and give all thanks and praises unto our power. Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahushai, Bahasham, Wa Rakakwadash. Shalom.